Here's my favorite Justin Trudeau video. He's going to sit down next to the Bolsonaro, who is the president of Brazil, and watch this.
In front of the flag. Please look in the direction of the photographer.
So this is Bolsonaro. He doesn't want anything to do with this guy.
Here sitting near Congress, please look to the back in the direction of the photographers.
Oh, wow! That Biden MBS fist bump was like a warm hug compared to what that was.
That was pretty awesome. Want to watch it again?
Of the photographers.
Hey, were you in the WFEF Young Leadership Forum too?
He's a trucker. Bolsonaro's a trucker.
Sir, as you know, we filed an affidavit from an individual who identified this man. And the man is Mr. Brian Fox, according to that affidavit. He met him when he was doing, that photo was taken around the same time. He talked to him. He's been identified. There's an application before this commission to call Mr. Fox, as well as to allow our witness, Mr. Sean Folks, to testify. And it is clear, frankly, from the lack of answer and from the objection, that the witness here needs to answer this question. And subject to any questions, sir, those are my submissions.
Okay, well, just going back, I suspect you may be functioning under a misapprehension with respect to the testimony of Mr. Vigneault, but that's a different issue which we can get back to, because I think you've misunderstood his answer. So that's something which maybe could be cleared up. With respect to the question, I'll let you continue this. However, the outstanding motion that you've referred to has not been ruled on, and the evidence that you're proposing to tender is not in the public record. So that is not an appropriate, if you like, an appropriate representation at this stage. So, but I'll let you ask the question. I have, because of the outstanding motion at the moment.
Right. So, sir, now again, I take it, you know, as a former prosecutor with Public Prosecution Services Canada in the realm of national security law, that the identity of that man...
Can I just interrupt you? If you could just read what the question was to Mr. Vigneault again.
Question, right. Are you aware of a company called Enterprise Canada? Mr. Vigneault, not specifically, no. Question, and have you identified the individual, the one that is there? He was all over the news, the gentleman that was carrying the Nazi flag. Have you identified him yet? Mr. Commissioner, as I said before, the specific details of our investigation have been shared, you know, with the Commission earlier. I would not be able to go into more specific details, and then I tried to get him to identify that it was the individual, and I was cut off.
Yeah, so I just want to, my understanding to try and assist is that CSIS will neither confirm or deny that they're investigating that, because that's all secret. So what he's answering there is not a refusal to identify, not a refusal to answer. It's because their job is to do investigations. They do not answer those questions. That's my understanding. So I just want to clear that up.
Yeah.
So it isn't that Mr. Vigneault was trying to...
No.
So,
okay.
So I think for the record, that's important, and it may assist you. Now, I don't know if Commission Counsel wants to add or whether I've misstated it.
Okay.
To assist Mr. Miller, and as someone who's encountered over about 30 years similar refusals to answer questions on the basis of national security, I sympathize with his plight. But it is exactly as you described, Mr. Commissioner. The representative of CSIS or another national security officer is typically saying, I refuse to admit or deny, I refuse to acknowledge or disclaim, etc. They're not saying one way or another. They're just saying that as a matter of national security, they can't take a position on it.
Okay. And so if I may ask my question, now I take it that you know, as a former prosecutor with Public Prosecution Services Canada in the realm of national security law, that the identity of the man that was in the photo carrying a flag in public is a photograph in public and is not protected by any form of national security law or other evidential protection. You're aware of that?
I have no idea what this photo is, who the person depicted in that photo is, or any of the other circumstances. This is the first time I have seen this photo produced.
You're aware and you know that Mr. Brian Fox was the individual who was walking around in downtown Ottawa carrying a Nazi flag on January 29th, 2022, don't you?
No.
Now, are you aware that Freedom Corp, and you've already heard, has applied to have Mr. Fox testify?
In the commission here? Is
Yes.
that where the application is? I am not aware of that.
Okay. And you're aware of the company Enterprise Group, is that right?
I believe I have heard of it.
Enterprise Canada.
Yes.
And they do work for the Liberal Party of Canada, is that right?
I do not know.
You don't know.
No.
Weren't they working for the Liberal Party of Canada and political staffers and staff in January and February of 2022?
I don't know.
And I take it you know who local Ottawa freelance photographer David Chan is?
No.
You don't know that David Chan was the official photographer for the Prime Minister, Paul Martin? You didn't know that?
No, I don't know this individual.
And you didn't know that Paul Chan still does freelance work for the Prime Minister Trudeau?
I'm
Okay. And you're not aware that Mr. Chan was the individual who took the photos of the person with carrying the Confederate
Yeah.
flag?
You put it as a question. Now,
Yes.
You're trying
Sure.
to make all kinds of
Okay.
statements that are of no assistance to the
Okay,
commission
so
or to this witness.
I will just ask, so are you aware that Katie Telford, the Chief of Staff for the Prime Minister, has a relationship with Enterprise Group and their staff?
No, I am not aware.
Okay.